This is Radar for On the Radar Entertainment Blog, coming to you with a baseball observation hot stove edition, the first week. The season's been over pretty much for over a month, and all that's been happening is players accepting qualifying offers or not. So we've had a few guys who did not accept who accepted the qualifying offer, which were Kevin Gausman of the Giants and Marcus Stroman of the Mets. Every other free agent did not accept the qualifying offer; they're free agents. And then you have the Rule 5 draft coming up. So a lot of players are adding minor leaguers to their 40-man roster, and then cutting guys they don't really need on the 4-man roster, and activating guys from the 60-day DL who didn't really play this year, like guys who had Tommy John surgery, or guys who even opted out of the season, like an Ian Desmond of the Rockies. So then there are guys who, became free agents. So there have been some moves, but most have been like minor league moves. Like the first one is the Pirates re-signed Andrew Suzak. Okay, they don't really have any catching, so that makes sense. The Mets signed Malik Smith. Well, the Mets, have some outfielders, but they never stay healthy, so it's always good to have a guy who used to lead the league in stolen bases. Jose Peraza, who the Red Sox signed this past year for this season, thought he'd be their second baseman, but he could routinely play all over the infield and the outfield, so the Mets just want to get some depth there. And they signed Roldo Vizcaino, who at one point when he was healthy with the Braves was a pretty good closer, but he hasn't been healthy for a while, and with the short season, he didn't play, obviously, so that's interesting to see if that could be a comeback story. The Nationals re-signed Aaron Barrett, the reliever, and Adrian Sanchez, the infielder, minor league deal. Just organizational depth. And the Blue Jays re-signed Robbie Ray, so that gives them another starting pitcher that helped them really make the playoffs by acquiring all those veterans. And Eric Kratz, who played for the Yankees this year, decided he's not going to play next year, so that's interesting. The Rockies brought Ivan Rodriguez's son Derek on a minor league deal. The Braves brought back Josh Tomlin because, they need a guy who can start and relieve. That's helpful for them. The Cardinals signed catcher Tyler Heineman because, Molina is a free agent, and they're not sure what's going to happen there, and they only got Andrew Kistner on the roster, so might as well. He played for the Giants this year. The Braves signed Drew Smyly, again, one time a really good starter, and he bounced around as a starter and reliever ever since he's been injured in the last couple of years. So for them, that's a good depth move there as well. Mike Clevenger re-signed a 2-year deal with the Padres, but he's going to have Tommy John surgery. He's going to miss the whole year, so they just wanted to retain his rights when he's healthy. The Nationals have signed Yasmani Tomas to a minor league deal. The Diamondbacks no longer have to pay for this man's contract. I thought that this year with the DH rule in effect, he would have played in DH this year. They did not. The Nationals now just paying for the minimum minor league deal, and, he's got some pop. The Nationals, they're not sold at first base, nor are they sold if they're in the DH, so that may work out. Brandon Dixon, the Tigers infielder, has gone over to Japan, so that's interesting. The Pirates did DFA Trevor Williams, which was interesting because he and, Brawl are one of the few pitchers they have left, besides Joe Musgrove that was healthy when they had a bunch of young pitchers. So that's interesting. Somebody will definitely pick up Trevor Williams. Padres DFA Luis Perdomo. That guy's been a starter and a reliever, so people will definitely pick him up. The Braves pick up Jack Mayfield from the Astros off waivers. That'll be interesting for organizational depth. And the Angels signed Scott Schebler because last year when they traded Brian Goodwin and got rid of Michael Hermosillo, and Trout wasn't playing some days, and Justin Upton wasn't playing today, they were single-handedly playing 2 first basemen in the outfield and playing Joe Adell in center, which he's not a center fielder. So getting Schebler, who has played the outfield, is good organizational depth. And Kevin Crone of the Diamondbacks, he's gone overseas along with Pirates pitcher Doivis Nervakis, so that's just interesting. More pitchers and players in general from the United States are going over to play in Japan because they got everything, situated there, and they're able to play their full season. Charlie Morton has signed a 1-year deal with the Atlanta Braves. After appearing in the World Series with the Rays and winning a World Series with the Astros before, he decided to join the Braves. He was a Braves player and was traded a long time ago to the Pirates. So then you got him and Drew Smyly in the back of the rotation. It's not bad. For the Braves, their rotation is pretty good, but there's a lot of youngsters. The interesting thing, though, is the Indians, after getting rid of Brad Hand weeks back, they declined his option. He became a free agent, that sort of thing. That was a big news story. The other news story is Adam Simber, the sidearmer, those are the 2 pitchers they got when they traded away Francisco Mejia to the Padres because they needed to revamp their bullpen. Both those guys are both gone, so, if the Padres, because they still have Mejia, they definitely probably won that trade in terms of the future. So it's another good reliever that's out on the market. The Rays DFA'd Hunter Renfroe, which, again, the dude hit 30-plus home runs in 2019, and he was pretty good this year for them. Obviously, in the playoffs, he didn't play as much because Randy Ozarena came out of nowhere, and they were playing him and Manuel Margot in the outfield with Kevin Kiermaier. But, yeah, somebody that needs a corner outfielder DH who can hit 30 home runs in a season, he's not even 30 yet. That's a good deal for somebody who signs him. The Rangers claimed Aramis Garcia, who's a catcher from the Giants, is interesting because this year, with Buster Posey opting out of this past season, the Giants had to use Tyler Heineman. They had to use Rob Brantley. They called up Joey Bart, their prospect. that all sort of that. Ramos Garcia, though, we thought they were going to use him. It didn't really work out. The Rangers don't really have a starting catcher, so the young guy, Ramos Garcia, who's not like he's 30s in his 20s, can actually help out the Rangers. The Diamondbacks cut Junior Garrett. I guess he's not worth the money. And the other interesting news is the Orioles cut Renato Nunez as they were taking players off their 40-man roster and adding them for the Rule 5 draft. The Renato Nunez has been pretty much their corner infielder DH. They've been bad in the middle of the lineup with Rio Ruiz. And now that he's gone, that's a guy that they've lost with 30 home run potentials. That's interesting. So every single week, I will recap all the major moves that have happened. There hasn't been that many. I said Charlie Morton signing with somebody and the players accepted qualifying offers. That every week there'll be some news for me to talk about, and you'll hear it here on a Hot Stove baseball videos. So for On the Radar Entertainment Blog, I'm Radar. Thanks for listening to the first week of Hot Stove season for the 2020-21 off season. Look for my videos on YouTube on the Radar. Thanks for listening. See you guys next time.